Welcome to the Irrigation Insights Podcast, where we talk about the business of irrigation. I'm your host, Jacob.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
All right, we're back, baby. All right, Ben's out of town. I'm here with Michael. You were the first irrigation guy that we brought on.
Yep. It's been a while.
Yeah, back in 2020. So that's, God, 2020 feels like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it feels like it's been so long, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even this year, like we're still in May, about to go into June. Feels like this year's been 5 years. like this year.
It's been a long one. It's too much going on.
I know. I'm like, dang, it's just now getting into June. We've only been in this building for 2 months. I feel like we've been in here like for a long time.
Yeah, it's come pretty natural. It feels like it was an easy transition. I think we were all looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But one of the really positive changes.
Yeah, this worked out really well. We needed it. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah,
not having it now.
We needed something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know Ben was wanting you on here for a while. Yeah, I was telling you to talk about like how we started and how we kind of grew it. A lot of people. I'm still trying to get a gauge of our audience of like where they're at. I think a lot of them are still like solo guys out there.
Yeah.
Still trying to take the next step, hire their first person. I mean, other people have employees and stuff like that. I don't know. They might be all over the place. But, we went directly into service. When we brought you on, I was still mowing yards.
Yeah.
And we decided to cut all the mowing out and go straight into irrigation. Just take the leap all over.
Yep, just jumped straight in. Starting, we thought we were making good money.
Yeah. Figuring it out along the way. Doing head replacements for like $25.
Yeah. I was talking about that with one of the other guys yesterday. How we started, we thought $25 for a head replacement was decent money, and
yeah, decent.
Replace a backflow for $300.
Oh God. Yeah. We talked about that on here. Terrible. God, that was terrible.
We thought making $1,000 in a day was what we needed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you can make $1,000 in a day, that was like, we were living.
Yeah. Hog heaven.
Yeah. That was the best. We weren't even hitting $1,000 in a day. I mean, it was tough to do $1,000 in a day back then. Y'all were running like 6-7 jobs in a day. I've talked about it on here before, but I remember talking with you specifically and being like, okay, you're hitting like 6-7 jobs in a day. I need to get y'all to 10.
8.
Yeah, 10 jobs a day. I got to get this route density. I was still looking at it from like a mowing perspective.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah, but you're not making the same money at every job, and so you have to. It has worked out a lot better since we started doing less jobs. I think part of that is just the less stress on you trying to get to all of them. Because you got 8 jobs on your schedule, you're trying to get them done fast so you can get to the next one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just doesn't work that way. You wear yourself out.
Yeah, it's slow. And that was a big risk. When we first, I say it was a risk. I mean, it felt like a risk at the time. Remember when we all said it was just like me, you, and Ben. We were just like, all right, instead of doing 6, we're going to do 4. We're going to slow way down. We're going to like double our prices, slow way down. Let's spend time with the customer. We just change it. We're going to change the whole thing up.
Yep.
And then it actually worked out better. We were kind of nervous about it. Like, well, what are they going to say? And we double our prices. What's going to happen? Nothing happened, really.
Yeah. Nothing bad.
Nothing bad happened. Yeah, nothing. Man.
I mean, ultimately, if you provide good service, you can charge good prices. You take care of people. People don't mind paying for paying for the extra attention to detail or just the small gestures of just showing that you're there to take care of them, not take their money. People are going to be a lot more free with you when they trust you and they feel you're there to take care of them.
Yeah, maybe that's something you could really talk about, because I think a lot of people struggle with that because people like sell out of their own wallet. Like I know a lot of like the solo guys that, and I kind of struggle with it too. It's like, is that too much money? I don't think I would spend that much money. I wouldn't do this, and I'm probably not even our target customer. You know what I mean? Like, and but that's okay. I mean, we're none of us are probably our target customer, because if you know how to do something, if you have some tools, if you're somewhat handy, then of course you're probably not going to do it. But our customers aren't handy. They don't have tools, or maybe they're handy in a different area. They might be able to take apart a computer or something, but when it comes to lawn work, they're like, nah, that's not for me.
Well, a lot of people are scared of wiring. A lot of people are scared of working with water. And a lot of it is just people just don't want to. They don't have time. And people just want someone to come out and make those stresses go away. Mm-hmm. It's just one less thing they have to worry about. And the more you make them feel like I'm here to take stuff off of your shoulders, the more free they're going to be with you, the more they're going to be willing to spend, the more they'll trust your recommendations. Just makes it a lot easier when you spend time with the customer, get them to trust you, educate the customer. A lot of people, I think, don't take the time to explain to the customer, this is what I'm doing, this is why, this is how your system works. And I think a lot of that is why people trust us, because we'll sit there and go through that with them and tell them all about how the system works and everything. And for some people, I'm sure that leads to them doing it themselves. And that's okay, because ultimately they're still going to know that we're the ones that took the time to take care of them. And when they have a problem they can't figure out, or when someone else needs someone and asks them, they're going to tell them to call us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Still leaves a good impression. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things there. I mean, I think there's people that are afraid to bump prices. I think there's also people that don't like customers.
Yeah.
After years of dealing with just like that guy to get off the phone with, I had another guy that already signed the estimate. We did the work, paid for it, and then days later, I don't even know how many days, wants to call and complain about the price. After years of dealing with that, you start to get like jaded, and you start to not like people. You cannot get to the point where you don't like people, because then you don't want to take the time to explain and walk through it. You have to I think you got to want to walk. You got to want to do the inspection with the customer. Hey, come out, walk through this with me. You got to actually like people. Yeah. You got to keep liking people.
Well, the big thing is, to me, even the hard customers to deal with, you can turn that hard customer into a really good customer. You just have to show them, I'm here to help you. Show them the patience. Maybe they're just having a bad day. You never know what's happening, and you have to act like every customer is your friend. You're just there to help them out. And payment's secondary. You pretend not to be worried about that, but but a lot of it really is. You just have to focus on taking care of the customer, and as long as they feel taken care of, the rest will handle itself.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's good. I think it's hard. I think that's hard to do. I think it's really hard to do for some people. They don't. I don't know. I don't really know. They just kind of get, like I said, jaded and.
Yeah. Well, the other struggle too is, you start thinking about, you start making assumptions about people, like you you may think, oh, this person won't spend much, or, well, this person clearly doesn't have that much money. And you never know. Maybe they just wanted a humble house and they got millions of dollars stashed in the mattress.
Yeah, you really never know.
But ultimately, as long as you focus on your customer service, whatever you recommend, as long as you're willing to work with them some, they'll find a way to work with you.
Yeah.
Even if they can't afford it right then, if you you can work something out with them to ultimately help them out.
Yeah, and that doesn't even mean coming off your price. Like you got to make buying easy. You can't be like, here's my price, I'll only accept cash. Like, okay, well, you just cut your customer base down by like 80% right there.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah, you can do financing, you could do just tell them this is what absolutely has to be done right now. This can wait a little while, so do this right now, do this next month. Just find a way to fill their needs, and you can't focus as much on how much money am I going to make, because the money comes once with the reputation and the trust of the customers makes everything just fall together.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you do everything else right, if you have a good reputation, if your prices are set where they need to be, then as long as you're taking care of the customer and building, you build options, but your options are focused on taking care of the customer, then the money will just kind of falls into place. Everything just falls into place.
And a lot of it too is just help, like I said a minute ago, just helping people understand what it is they're buying. You can't just say, hey, you should do this.
Yeah.
You have to give them the reasons for you should do this because it'll save you money. It'll give you better coverage. There's a million different reasons. Most of these things sell themselves. You just have to know how to present it. You just have to give them the information about the product, and a lot of them sell themselves. The smart controllers, the water-saving nozzles, it all really makes sense. Makes no sense not to buy, because you're going to get a return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
So really it's just in how you present it and whether they trust you or not.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, all this stuff was designed to give you a return on investment. And really, the manufacturers have done, that's kind of what I did. The manufacturers have kind of done all the selling. They've at least put all the literature together. You can just go to Ratio's website, Hydro's website, Hunter's website for the MPs, Rainbirds for the RVNs, and find all of the selling points for all of their stuff, and then just pitch it. And as long as they trust you, it's like, well, there it is. I mean, that's but you do have to be willing to answer the questions. And these sales, if you're going to do, you can't be in a rush. You can't be in a rush. You got to slow down. You can't have 8 jobs a day, because these sales, these $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 jobs. Josh did one that was $10,000. They take an hour to sell, sometimes 2 hours. Mm-hmm. You're going to sit there for 2 hours. If you got 8 jobs, you don't have time to sit in somebody's yard for 2 hours answering questions, turning the system on and off, going back. Oh, and their customer's like, well, let's walk through this zone again. Well, what about this? Can you, we're going back and forth for 2 hours answering questions and showing things, and let me swap a nozzle. Let me show you this. And what if we did this?
Yeah.
2 hours, but we'll do it. We'll do it to make the big sale.
And even if you don't make the big sale right then, you've built that relationship there where they're going to be thinking about your recommendations and stuff like that. So when you do your follow-ups, they'll be a lot more likely to be like, you know what, yeah, I like that guy. I'll go for it. It's even if you spend 2 hours there, you end up just getting a service call for the day. You've built that relationship, and it can make a huge difference. It won't every time. Sometimes there's just not much money there, but
yeah.
Overall, it makes a huge difference to just take the time and just treat them like people.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. I think that God, that just sums it up great. Treat them like people. They're not. It's not just another stop. It's
Yeah.
not just a box on the screen that you got to check off.
Yeah,
It's an actual person.
Yeah, it's not just a customer. It's your friend that you're there to help out.
Yeah,
And you have to treat it as such, because if you make them feel like they're your friend, then that goes a long way to getting them to trust you. And if they feel that you care, then they'll want to stick with you.
yeah, yeah. That's
Because people would rather pay $600 for something with someone that cares rather than $100 for something that with someone that doesn't.
yeah. At least the people we're going for, and the guy that doesn't care about anything except the money, he's just going to be.
He just needs to learn to do it himself.
Yeah, he really does. And if he doesn't want to, he just wants to pay somebody, he's going to be a headache. And he's going to be calling you back.
Yep.
Somebody else can have that one. Don't want it. No, I think it's great when people, they overwork themselves. And, I think a lot of people don't want to answer a lot of questions. I was going to talk with Ben about this. I'll bring it up to you, though. We had a guy call in, and it started off where I was like, yeah, I don't know about this guy, because we sent him a quote. It's like $3,000, and he was like, I got a couple questions about this quote. It seems a little high, and I heard it, and I was like, oof, I don't.
Yeah.
You're already like, man, and well, also he was like, I'm just trying to figure out what the parts and labor on this are, and we don't do parts and labor. It's flat rate, and so I'm just like, this ain't gonna go well, but. Ben just sat there and talked to him, and he told him, we don't do parts and labor. Our price is factored in. We have to factor in, and just gave him the whole spiel of we got to factor in our overhead, our insurance, paying the guys, and just broke all that down. And he talked to him for probably 45 minutes, and I think he got it. I think he got it approved over the phone. And really, I was like listening from my office, and the guy was actually a cool dude. I remember the guy saying like, yeah, we're going to do it. This is our first home. This is going to be our first like big expense we have to pay. And just trying to get some understanding of how this works. And like, that's all it really was. And I think sometimes people don't want to, they hear that and they think, oh, that's a big red flag, I'm out.
Yeah. And it's been said a million times, but you really are selling yourself more than you're selling the product. It really, what you're selling is less important than the way that you come across. Because if they don't trust you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, people buy off emotion more than anything else, as long as they feel good about you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we've found that even with lawn treatments, we'll tell people, hey, we can be a little bit cheaper. We might be a little bit cheaper. And people say, nah, I like my guy. No thanks. It's all emotion. If they like you, it doesn't matter if you're a little bit cheaper, a little bit more. They like you. They're gonna stick with you.
Yep.
And that's what you want. And that's what I would say to anybody who's afraid about bumping up their prices, if you need to, anyways.
Yep. Just build the customer loyalty, and that comes into building a business too. Is talking about loyalty is with your employees. The reason I've been here since the beginning, the reason I'm still here, is because I've always felt like I'm well taken care of, like you actually care about your employees. We're not just means to making you money. And that's the number one thing that keeps me around is I know you know what you're doing, and I know that you care about your employees. And that would be my advice to anyone that's planning on expanding, hiring people, would be to just make sure you take care of your guys, and they'll take care of you in return. It's really that simple.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm definitely not out looking for the next boat or my second house or nothing like that. Y'all probably make more money than I do. I'm pretty sure y'all do. Yeah, some people. You've worked for some other people. You've had job offers for
Yeah.
some other people that I don't think are around anymore. And how was that? I don't know if you want to get into it. We don't have to get into it.
All I'll say
Sum it
is
up, yeah.
it did not. It didn't feel like I was. It didn't feel like I was really a valued member. It just felt like you're here to make me money. Go do it.
Yeah, that's not
And
good.
yeah, it doesn't feel good. So, I mean, that's why I've stuck around. And any job offer I've had, I don't care what it is, because even if I make twice the money somewhere else, I'm not gonna give up the actual caring that we have here, just to chase a few dollars, because that loyalty is very important. And as a company, if we don't have that, then everything is going to fall apart. So I've always felt taken care of, so I'm not going anywhere. Ultimately,
We've come a long way in 5 years. It's only been 5 years. It's crazy. I think we got a long way to go. And yeah, I think there's just some, people do some things wrong. I don't know, some other owners, they get to a point where, I don't know if they just stop pushing or they get the shiny object syndrome. They start wandering off in other directions. As soon as they get a little bit of success, they want to do another business. Let me get into some real estate. Let me do this. Let me do that. Just focus on one thing. Let's see how big you can get it. I'm trying to think of what else. How was it working up here? Ben's been out. You've been filling in his spot, running like dispatch and handling calls. How's that going?
it's a little crazy. I mean, you'll have an hour of sitting there doing nothing, just trying to find something to do, and then all of a sudden you've got customers calling, you've got technicians calling, you've got the ladies in the office calling.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone's calling you at the same time. And so you just have this hour flood of things, and then it calms off again. And it's been crazy. It's been a little stressful, but it's been fun. I do enjoy it.
That's how it goes. Yeah, you just be sitting there chilling. I'll just be working, and then all of a sudden, everybody calls at once. Yeah. You're like, God, I don't know how y'all do this. We're gonna work with each other.
Yeah, no, I've always liked problem solving, and that's a lot of what it is trying to figure out how to fit all the pieces together, to make everything work together. And I think that's really, really what I find fun about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll probably like dispatching then, because that's what it is. Oh, this guy sold a big job. This guy sold a big job. This guy got held up. This guy's done early. But he's not in that area. Where are we gonna move? How are we gonna do this? Yeah, that's something unique in itself. Filling all these positions. I think that's something that we've just never stopped doing is optimize. We're just trying to optimize, whether for better or worse.
Yeah.
Just trying to optimize everything.
Yeah, get everything smoother. Because smooth is fast.
Yeah, and I've seen other people that I talk to them and man, I talk to other business owners. I'm not gonna name them, but I'm just like, man, y'all are still dealing with that. Like I was dealing with that like 4 years ago, and for like a few months, and then we solved that. I just don't see how and I know they were dealing with that 4 years ago too, and 4 years later you're still dealing with it. Like how?
Well, I know that You have demonstrated a particular drive for here's a problem, let's get rid of it.
Yeah, I hate problems.
So you'll hyperfixate on that issue, and then once that's over, you find the next thing to focus on.
I do.
And it's served you well. Got us through a lot of interesting things, but
yeah, I like to put us in. Well, okay, here's what I got to solve. I'm gonna freaking. This is like the only thing I'm focused on until I fix this one thing. Then once that thing rolls by itself, then I can move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's the best thing, but it's got to be better than doing nothing for years.
Been working.
Yeah. Yeah, because I talked to these guys. I don't know. Yeah, not naming anybody. I'm trying to think of just some of the things they bring to me. Just scheduling issues, routing issues, not keeping track of just, I don't know, just basic stuff. Not having any records. It's like, dude, just get a software, like just get this software and like half your problems will be solved.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And delegating work to the right people. If you've got employees, figure out what everyone's strengths are and use them for their strengths. Makes everything go a lot smoother. If you got someone that's good at customer service, put them with customers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things you can do to streamline and make things more efficient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somebody asked about like pay for performance. I think a lot of people should be doing that.
Yeah.
Because I still see people just doing hourly rate. I don't see that working.
Why would you care?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Why would you care to push all the extra sales and just actually get through your jobs? And why would you care about finishing out the whole schedule when I'm getting paid the same either way? I'll hang out at the same job all day and take my time.
Yeah.
Take an hour and a half to change 3 heads, and like I'm getting paid hourly. I don't care.
Yeah, and you don't care what the job total is, how much money you make per day. Nothing good is incentivized by paying hourly. I still see that a lot. People paying hourly. You got to switch over to doing. Some people call it flat rate, or whatever, pay for performance. Always mess that up. But yeah, it's got to be a version of that. It's like Damon did that. What did he do? Like 3,500, and then it was like 35, 33 or something, 32. I don't know what it was. He did that on his first one. I was like, I'm still doing 2 more today. Like,
yep.
That's what you get.
And he hit another 3,200 on his last one.
Yeah, he did. He was going to do that one too. That's nuts. Yeah, we had to move one away from him, but that's what you get when you get somebody who's like getting a little piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Like,
when you reward people for their performance, they want to perform.
Yeah.
You have to find a way. You do have to find a way to do it without screwing yourself.
Yeah.
You don't want to be out here giving your guys 50% commission.
No, you can't.
But as much as we would like that,
nice.
We wouldn't be around that long. No. So yeah, you have to find a reasonable way to do that. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be commission. If you just have to find some way to reward good work that incentivizes them to care about what they're doing, rather than just slogging along through the day.
Yeah. This guy said he's doing $20 an hour plus 10% net. So I don't really know what that comes out. And I think Andy's does. I forget what Andy's does. I think they only do. Oh man, Ben knows. Theirs was like 15 an hour or something. Or it might have been a little more, but you only got 10% after 500. So anything below 500, you got nothing. So there might have been a little higher hourly rate, but Yeah, I think there might have been like 18 or 20 an hour, but yeah, anything you only got 10% over 500. There's many ways to set that up. Like everybody has something different. You just got to figure out what works for you. I know your total payroll cost, including benefits, taxes, has to be under 30% or 30% or under. That's where you want to be. But you figure out what you want to incentivize and just build your own. That's what we did. I didn't have any guidelines. We've changed it a few times.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's gotten better every time.
yeah, I think so. We try to make it better. Yeah, just make your own. Figure out what you want to incentivize. Some people incentivize. I've heard of companies saying like, "We build this out, but in order to get it, you also can't have any late days, or if you get late days, you get docked 0.5% or something." Which I never bothered to do because I don't want to track it, and two, whatever. Just like whatever. Like I don't want to. You should just be on time. I'm not going to start. I'm just not going to deal with that. Just be on time. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of things you can do on there.
And a lot of that too comes with if taking care of your guys. If your employees respect you, they're more likely to care about if you say, "Hey, just don't show up late." They're more likely to be on time if they actually respect you and feel like you care.
Yeah.
Because if you don't care, they won't. But yeah, I think the respect goes a long way to keeping people following the rules. I mean, you're always going to have some rebels, but
Yeah, it can get some rebels.
for the most part, if they respect you, they'll respect your rules, and it really is that easy.
Yeah, as long as they're taken care of. I mean, I heard this saying: the more rules you follow, the less. It's like the more rules you follow, the less rules you get, or the less rules you have. The less rules you follow, the more rules you get. The more rules you have. It's because like if you just decide that, oh, I don't have to wear seatbelts. Oh, I don't have to follow speed limits. I can drink and drive. And all of a sudden, you get a bunch of rules put on you.
Yeah, now you can't drive.
Yeah, now you can't drive. Now you can't even like be in public. Now you're in jail. But the more rules you follow, the less you actually have to follow. It's interesting. It's an interesting thought. Never really thought about it that way. I wish somebody told me that when I was younger.
Well, I mean, that's what my parents always told me growing up was the more you show that I can trust you, the more freedom I'll give you. And it's the same kind of thing. If, as an employee, you're reliable and you take care of business, you're not late, then you're a lot more likely to get leeway if you are late one day, or if you randomly need a day off or whatever. If you're the one that's always on time, always reliable, then it's a lot easier for your employer to cut you a break for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you really got to take care of people well. Well, that reminds me too, because I saw this post on Facebook. I don't remember exactly how it went. It was a couple weeks ago, but there was a guy on an install crew. He was making like $15 an hour, and the employer posted about it. He was like, "I got this guy. He's been on my install crew for 1.5 years. Never shows up late. Great employee. Always works super hard. So I finally gave him a raise. He gave him like $1.50 raise. But then he was like, so I just gave him a raise, and then the next day he doesn't show up. And then everybody was like, yeah, probably because you gave him a crappy raise. Like if that was a great employee, why'd you bump him up $1.50 to $16.50 an hour?
Yeah.
That's like nothing, especially on an install crew. That's rough. So they were like, yeah, he probably was looking for another job. Probably.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like, dang. That guy felt really defeated. He felt really like betrayed. I don't know.
Well, and I mean, I'm sure it was done with good intentions too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he legitimately believed that he was doing right by his guy, and a raise is a raise.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting more money, but I've been in the position where, congratulations, we're giving you a 20-cent raise. Well, gee, thanks.
I know,
That's
yeah, it's like-
so huge. Now I can buy a house.
Yeah, I know, it's insulting. Yeah. That's why I like the performance.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when the money you make is based entirely on you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, that can be insulting. Rather just not get one. Well, I don't know if we had any other questions. Yeah, well, what else has been going on? I don't really know. I don't really have a plan for this. I'm not really planning these out. I'm just doing them at this point.
Yeah, you should get on planning them. Have topics planned and plan a weekly.
I was planning them out in the winter, man, but it's been tough.
Yeah.
I did not think about how hard this was going to be in the summer. We're so busy.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to
it's got crazy.
I know. We're going to double in size this year. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Pretty sure we're going to double in size.
It's awesome.
We added another service. Got this building. This is crazy. And we got Ben in here managing the technicians, and I thought, okay, that'd be cool. That'll take some stuff off my plate. I'm busier than ever.
Yeah.
It's like
because there's more coming in too.
Yeah, I know. It's just more of everything. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying it's just I don't know. It's tough. It's wild, but it's cool to see. It's cool to see it happen.
Yeah. You hire someone to plan it out for you.
Yeah, we're getting there. Pretty soon.
But how long before we outgrow this building too?
Not long. Not long. But I mean, we're gonna. You know me. I'll wait. I'll wait till we're like
2 months past the last minute.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just be. All the chairs will be filled. People lined up around
full
the
meeting
walls.
room. People sitting on the counter.
Yeah. People just be in here, in the bathrooms, poking their head out the door. In my office, in Ben's office, sticking it. And then we'll move out.
Start just doing streamed meetings. We can't fit everyone in here.
Yeah. This is to be doing Zoom meetings. We'll break them up every other Monday.
I think a lot of what we're gonna have to do. I think a big thing is gonna be we're just gonna need more room for stock because we're gonna have to stock so much more.
No, I have a plan for that. I can add more space to the warehouse. Well, I can add more shelving. Yeah, which I'm already gonna have to do. Anyways. But yeah, I mean, I already know the number. Once we hit a certain level of technicians, we're gonna get warehouse manager / trainer, which will allow us to just pump technicians.
Yeah.
Just start bringing them in, classroom training the whole way until they're fully ready to go. Not fully ready to go in a van, but fully ready to go get field experience.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, because the classroom training helps a ton. By the time they start ride-alongs, they've already built a whole irrigation system, know how to diagnose problems. Start pumping them out quick.
Full scale irrigation academy.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll accept students from other companies. Tuition. You can pay tuition.
Yeah. Get licensed. Start
Yeah.
selling licensing classes too.
Oh, that'd be cool.
When you got nothing else going on here during the day.
Yeah, I wonder how you do that.
Just run a class.
Yeah, instead of sending them to freaking like a school, why don't we just
have someone in
house?
house?
How do we get accredited? Huh? How do we become instructors?
Yeah.
That's sweet. Next step.
It would make everything so much easier if you don't have to pay a third party to get your guys licensed, which there might be a little conflict of interest there. You may not be able to, but
yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know.
you might, I don't know, you might be able to hire someone that's like independently licensed to teach, and then just have them based. I don't know how that would work.
The guy I'm using works for Site One, so I don't know if that's a conflict. He does it like on the side, over the weekends and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Well, but you're not training your own employees.
that's
and
true. That's true.
calling them good enough to.
Yeah, but they still got to pass a state test.
Yeah,
so
you still have to get to the right standards. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something.
Some research. To do.
Yeah, that's something to look into. Interesting. But you do have to submit that they did a 40-hour class to the state. I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, which you could teach that class here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We just teach it here. Man, that'd be wild. That'd be cool. Just start pumping these dudes out.
Yep.
You get a lot of people that say that they've seen the van. Like, they see the van around and stuff. Do they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's very recognizable.
Well, yeah, I know. I just don't know.
But, yeah, I have different people say that they saw the van at church or...
Yeah, I know we got one from your church.
Seeing them at a restaurant or whatever. Just saw us driving down the road, or I was at a customer's house and their kid noticed the giant frog. And but yeah, it definitely seems to help having an easily recognizable van.
Yeah. I just wonder when we'll hit that point of like, I don't know.
Milestone, you see them and just like, oh yeah, them.
Yeah, they're just like, you can't
household name.
Yeah. But Dallas is so big. DFW is so big. You can't drive more than 10 minutes without seeing a milestone van. So it'll be. But
it's our turn next.
Yeah, we'll get there. But I just wondering, like McKinney though, because we work in McKinney quite a bit. I wonder if just the people in McKinney are like, man, I see you guys all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, one thing I've learned is like all this stuff builds on each other. You can't do like, like the wraps, the reviews, the uniforms, the iPads, the software, the service time. Like people want to do like they just want to kind of pick and choose what they want to do, but it all builds.
Oh yeah, because you have to build your brand.
Yeah.
And it's all part of the brand. Every bit of what your customer sees is going to be a known part of you as a company.
Mm-hmm.
So if your uniform looks clean and you just look really good, but you're driving a beat up rusty truck, it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, that'll make a huge difference. Or how would it be if we showed up just like we are, except instead of Service Titan, we had like pen and paper invoices? Yeah. That'd be garbage.
Everything has to be professional. Everything has to be honed in, clean.
We got to be dialed in, man. That was crazy. I was talking with Ben about this. We deal with these other businesses. We've been dealing with other businesses a lot recently, and they just like don't answer the phone. You tell them to send you something, they don't send it. Like just so much stuff, and I just feel like we can't get away with it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's crazy. You'd think, because your business relies on your customers. You'd think you'd want to answer the phone when they call.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of like step one of making money.
People just don't answer.
And I just don't get it. And if you're getting so many calls that you can't take them all, then get someone to take those calls.
Yeah, I said, I've said on several episodes, like to really grow, you need like a CSR. She'll keep you busy. All of a sudden, your booking rate will go way up.
Oh, yeah. And then once there's an area that you can't handle all you've got in that area, open up a role for it.
Mm.
And then once you can't fill all the need in this area over here, then build a role for that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and see, when I said that, people were like, "This is what." They were like, well, how do you expect us to hire CSR if we can't afford to? I'm like, charge enough for it. Like, you know, so obviously. But I guess it's not really that obvious. But
yeah,
okay.
Because a lot of times it will seem like if I raise prices, people are going to buy less. But you just have to show that you're worth that money.
Mm-hmm.
Is ultimately what it is. You can charge as much as you want to, as long as you can show the customer why you're worth that much.
Yeah, because otherwise you just get stuck in this cycle where I can't answer the phone. But the phone calls I do answer keep me booked out, but I can't afford to hire CSR. I can't afford to hire an employee. So now I'm just stuck in this loop where I'm just by myself forever. How are you going to break out of it? You're going to have to start charging more. So you can start hiring people. It's the only way.
Yep. And if you're not going to do good work, if you're not going to do work good enough that you're going to stand by it, if you don't care about your customers, if you don't want to do what you need to do to actually grow the company, then don't even bother.
I agree.
Because you're only going to waste your time and money if you don't care enough to actually do what you need to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'd just be better off working for somebody. Far less stress, too. I mean, unless some people might like it, but.
That's why people ask me all the time, why don't you start your own company? Because I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's a ton to deal with. Like, I don't know. Some people may like it, but I don't know. I think, like, unless you're really pushing to grow it, because even if you look at like the leaderboard out there, okay, you start your own company. Like a lot of these guys are posting there. Hey, solo guy, last year we did $200,000 in revenue. But then if you take away all the costs, okay, like maybe you made $70,000, but you worked, or $80,000 for you personally. But then you also worked 80 hours a week to make the $80,000. And it's like, well, what was the point of that? I don't know. And some people make less. Some people are solo guys that they're solo technicians, owner operators bringing in $150,000 in revenue. And I'm like, I know you're only pocketing like $30,000 off that, and you're working way too much.
Yeah,
way too much. Yeah, I don't know. It's a death trap. You just got to break out of. You got to just stop it. We almost got caught in that.
Yeah, there were some times it was scary to do what we had to do to move forward. I mean, even you transitioning from back when we were working at the city to you going full-time mowing, I know that was a hard transition to make the decision to do. Yeah, we've had several moments like that where, well, we don't know what's going to happen here, but we got to do it.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
And everything's worked out pretty well so far.
That's always been my mindset. Like, if you're in that spiral of like, well, I can't afford to hire a CSR, I can't afford to hire a technician, I can't afford to do anything, I'm just stuck by myself. You got to raise prices, and you're probably like, well, I'm scared to raise prices. If like my mindset is always like, well, I'm not staying here. I'm not staying in this position, so I'm just going to do it and see what happens because I will not stay here. And then you do it and you figure it out.
Yeah.
And
if you don't know how to proceed, you can talk to someone that does. I promise you, there's someone out there that's been in the same position, and you can always find someone that's willing to help you get where you need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, you can send us a message. That's the whole point of this podcast, really, because people are not charging enough. People are not representing the industry enough. I call 10 irrigation companies. Nobody answers the phone. Maybe 2 call me back.
Yep.
The ones I talk to are like, yeah, we'll be out there in 2 weeks. It's just like, hello? Yeah, this is Billy Bob's Irrigation. Yeah, oh, yeah, I can come out there in 2 weeks. I'm like, sweet. Yeah, just like totally unprofessional. I don't know.
Well, hit them with the socials. Tell them where they can get in contact with us.
Yeah, irrigationinsightspodcast.com. And on Facebook. You can look that up on Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. You can send us a question there. And yeah, we'll keep putting these out. How long has it been? It's been about an hour, huh?
It has.
I think it was a pretty good episode. Yeah. Yeah, don't stay stuck in that loop. Get out of it.
Do what you got to do. Take care of your customers. Take care of your employees. Make that money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it was sweet. That was nice. Right on. Cool. All right. Well, we will see you next time.